Well, this is what we've got going on here for today. We're broke down. Last night we had an issue where we plugged between the knife drum and the blower housing. Crawled in underneath the chopper to throw the pan down, and I seen that the shims that go underneath our spiral band, one side was half out and the other side had fallen out. We lost them somewhere. Now, when we started second cutting, we ended up adjusting up this spiral band, or the floor that goes underneath the knife drum. This sets in there, it's angled something about like that. You have to change the pitch of that every so often as your knives wear, because what you want to have is a nice tight clearance between this and the knife drum so that you can propel that material off of the knife, throw it back and up to the blower so the blower can do its job getting it out the pipe. So I said, well, the bolts just loosened up. Well, it's more than just bolts loosening up. What there is 4 12mm bolts that hold this floor down. Throw this up in the air here, kind of show you guys what this actually looks like. Yeah. So there's 2 on each side, 4 12mm bolts that hold that in. Figured to just get some new bolts. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. However, these holes don't have any threads in them anymore. So we are down underneath here. We've got 2 holes on that side and 2 holes on this side. Actually, I got that marked in the wrong spot. I got a mark on that one. So at any rate, what they have is a nut welded to the back side of this tube. There's one left in right there. Oh no, right there. This one, I'm pretty sure this one fell out. Maybe that one is there. So these 2 are on this side. However, these 2 here fell out. So they're down in this tube. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a hole in the top. We're gonna drop a nut down in there and we're gonna weld it. So we'll go ahead and cut this with the plasma cutter, and then we'll roll in underneath here, and I'm gonna put 1/2-inch nuts in. And what we have is nuts that we use on the chisel plow tips. They have a wider base to them, so we'll be able to get a good amount of weld all the way around that, and that'll last another 7 years. So we might as well go ahead and get started on it here. go find out. Won't know until I get her ground down and get the pots back in now. Got little termites down underneath there. Yeah, fucking biting my ears and everything else. They've been living in that beam. And when I... Alright, we've got everything welded up here. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. We got to clean up our weld. So we've got all 4 nuts welded into place. The other idea I had was to cut a hole in the back side of here, put the nut up underneath, and then weld the bottom of the nut. But I thought twice about that because I figured it would take longer to cut all this out than it would be to just drop a nut down in there and weld it like we did. So we'll pull these bolts out, we'll clean all of that welded area up, and slide our panel back in, put our appropriate shims in there, and get this fitted up. Alrighty, so we are just about like new down in here. They've got them all cleaned up with the grinder, and now we can just set the panel in. These guys are filling this with fuel off the trailer now so that we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We got some smoke coming up out of here, so it looks like we're on fire, smoldering. So we'll get some water down in there once we get done here, and we'll get after it. Well, we are all back together. Let's get this door shut. Looks that ain't gonna close all that great because we've got a little feed in there. Alright, that should do her. We're going to take this up to the bunk, start it up, and blow all this material that's in here out, and then hook our head on and go. Well, we'll kind of pick up where we left off here last night. We'll see how everything goes. Everything should work as it's supposed to. Alright. Well, we've got to make up for some lost time here. We'll see how things roll here today. But those bolts that hold that spiral band in, I ended up talking to Jake last night, and I said, if I pull the shear bar out and the anvil plate and whatever off, will I be able to get into the front side of that? Is that open? And he didn't seem to think so. So he says, I'd be curious to know how you end up fixing that, because he said, I expect that that's going to start happening more and more as these choppers get a little older. It looks as though what was in there was a nut just tack welded to the bottom side, because the panel's like 1/4 inch material formed. It's not a rectangle tube, and those nuts just kind of were not there. So I had thought about cutting the back side of that apart, but that could have turned into a real fiasco. In other words, what I had done is I'd have cut that open with the spiral band in place and have the bolt down through the spiral band with the nut on the bottom side, and hold the wrench on there, get it tight, and then tack weld the nut again. But then I would have to fill in that cutout area. But I suppose a guy could cut that apart, put a piece of angle iron in there with the nuts on it and leave it open so that he could get a wrench in there in the future. But you know, have a wide enough piece of angle iron to have all 4 holes drilled into to kind of match that panel and just kind of set that in there. But alright, we're gonna keep on it here. sun blaring at us, but we are just about done. Just loaded my father. Loading Alex right now, and then Sarah will get the last load. And that will do it for today. One of the guys that visits us quite a few times here, or quite a bit rather, he's watching us on the side of the road here. Usually he's watching us over in Camellus. He's made his way over to Lafayette here, and he's watching right from the road. So we get that from time to time. Different guys like to see what's going on. So I've got to ride home with Sarah here tonight, and we'll get Alex loaded, get Sarah loaded, and then I can park this machine up for the night. I don't have my truck over in this area. I didn't know I was going to make it this far. So we'll have to fuel this and blow this machine off in the morning. So everybody wave to Lee. So, yeah. We got the sun behind us now, a little better video atmosphere here. Yeah. All right. All right, so we just got Alex loaded. We need to top off Sarah. She has about a half a load on. We got a side hill field right across the road there, and we ended up getting about as much on as we need to get on the truck that I was filling over there. It was actually my father. I didn't want to put any more on him, being that we were on the side hill, so I called for an empty truck. Sarah came over, I put the last window on her, and you can see she's got about that much on there. So we'll get her topped up, and there's a pole barn over here in this area that we can park on inside for tonight. We'll strip the head off, get it ready to be blown off, and I'll put fuel in it in the morning. Blow it off, sharpen the knives. We did not sharpen the knives on it prior to starting today. So we got 476 acres on these knives here right meow. We filled with fuel, and that's all we did. Cost us a little bit of time here to get them threads welded up on in there, and I didn't want to screw around with sharpening knives or any of that garbage, so we just run with it today. I don't know, I ain't gonna make it all the way around this little field here. Sarah's gonna be loaded. So we'll come back to this here tomorrow. My nephew ended up getting all this hay cut in this area, and he moved the machine home. I don't know if we've got another machine over here or not, the other hay vine. I don't think so. I think he cut all this alone. And it seems like it was just yesterday that we were doing the first cutting over here. But it took us quite a bit longer to chop first cutting than it has to chop third. And we've got to be getting up on a shorter interval here between when we started first and when we started second here. So we're going to be a little short on days, but that's all right. Third will be ready all at the same time. So we got a few deer down here. They're running along. Alright, we'll get Sarah loaded and then we'll ride back with her. Alright, we'll join up in a little while here. Alright, Sarah, I'll meet you over at Naughton's barn and I'll ride back with you. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
It is just about 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. So, we'll join up with you guys here on our trip home. She's got a fair load on her. We're only about a mile away from that barn we park up on in. And yeah. Alright, so we've done pulled on inside here. We've uncoupled the head, we've set our jacks down. We're gonna go ahead and back away from that. And in the morning, I can come on over here, blow this machine off, put fuel in it, and get it ready to go for the day tomorrow. So you guys have been in this barn before. We did have the balers parked right there. We'll go ahead and back up the fuel trailer inside here, fuel it tomorrow, and yeah, being that it's parked inside, we'll be able to keep it from getting wet. There's only one thing that's any good when it's wet, and that ain't a chopper. This dust and whatever that's on the chopper, if that stuff gets wet, it cakes up and it just turns into a freaking mess. If you don't have the machine blown off. I don't mind it getting wet if it's blown off already, but I don't like it getting wet when I've got all this dry chaff all over it here. So we're gonna go jump in with Sarah and make our way home. We're about 10 miles away from home. So, yeah. All right, driver. Take me home, will you? We need a really tall shifter, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seat on the floor. Yeah. All right, folks, we're gonna get it home, and that is gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you the next one. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.